Hello?
Hey, we got you on speakerphone now.
Okay, thank you.
Uh-huh.
Excellent. Good evening, everyone. At this time, I'd like to call to order this October 3rd, 2023 meeting. Would you please rise with the Pledge of Allegiance, a moment of silence? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Madam Secretary, would you please call the roll?
Here.
Here.
Ms. Lloyd? Here. Ms. Miller?
Here.
Ms. Willenbecker?
Here.
Mr. Redinger?
Here.
Mr. Sykes is not here.
Thank you very much. At this time, do I have public comment on agenda items? Seeing no public comment, agenda item number 1.
Do I have a motion to approve council meeting minutes for the September 19th, September 25th, September 26th meetings as submitted?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Councilor Kluskevich, second by Vice President Willenbecker. Any questions or comments on the meeting minutes? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Oppose?
Ian,
Yes?
I'm going to abstain.
Okay, we have one abstention. Thank you very much. Agenda item number 2.
Do I have a motion to approve payment of bills as shown on the accounts payable list dated for September 26th, which is for the period of September 15th through September 26th, 2023, and to ratify approval of such bills already paid and to authorize the appropriate officials to take required actions to make those payments?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Councilor Kluskevich, second by Councilor Miller. Any questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Oppose? Motion carries. Agenda item number 3. Do I have a motion to table? We're waiting to hear some more feedback from Morris. Do I have a motion to a table?
I'll make a motion to table this for now.
Second.
Motion by Councilor Kluskevich, second by Vice President Willenbecker. Any questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Oppose? Agenda item number 4.
Do I have a motion to accept Michael Richards' letter of resignation from the zoning hearing board?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Councilor Kluskevich, second by Vice President Willenbecker. Any questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Oppose? Motion carries. Agenda item number 5. Yes, Ms. Lloyd?
Right, sorry, I tried to catch you. I will be an abstention on that vote as well.
Okay.
Thank you.
Agenda item number 5, handicap parking.
Do I have a motion to grant an unreserved handicap parking spot at 301 East High Street, subject to annual renewal, as put forth in Ordinance 1354?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Councilor Kluskevich, second by Vice President Willenbecker. Any questions or comments on the handicap parking? All those in favor?
Aye.
Oppose? Motion carries. Agenda item number 6.
Do I have a motion to approve the transfer of funds from the water and sewer account to the pooled cash account in the amount of $750,000 to reimburse the pooled cash account for water and sewer legal expenses?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Councilor Kluskevich, second by Councilor Miller. Any questions or comments on the transfer? All those in favor?
Aye.
Oppose? Motion carries. Agenda item number 7.
Do I have a motion to appoint Brown, Schultz, Sheridan, and Fritz as our auditors for the year ending December 31st, 2023 for the Borough of Middletown?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Councilor Kluskevich, second by Councilor Lister. Any questions or comments on the audit? All those in favor?
Aye.
Oppose? Motion carries. Agenda item number 8.
Do I have a motion to authorize the Public Safety Director, Mr. Wright, to hire Gregory Richards as a part-time officer within the Middletown Borough Police Department?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Councilor Kluskevich, second by Councilor Miller. Any questions or comments on our new hire? All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Oppose? Motion carries. Congratulations. Agenda item number 9.
Do I have a motion to advertise the proposed general fund budget with an expense total of $1,872,445.62, and the proposed electric fund budget with an expense amount of $8,798,468.42.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Councilor Kluskevich, second by Vice President Willenbecker. Any questions or comments on the budget? All those in favor?
Aye.
Oppose? Motion carries. I just want to say, I'm so pleased about staff and council. We literally did this budget in 2 budget meetings. One of them was only under an hour. So, thank you to everybody. Staff, thank you very much, and be able to put forth a balanced budget with no tax increase. Thank you to everybody for their hard work. Agenda item number 10.
Do I have a motion to approve the Middletown Fire Department request of $32,800 to replace the roof of the firehouse at 110 Adelia Street to be funded through the 2023 budget?
So moved.
I'll second. I have a motion by Councilor Lloyd, a second by myself. Any questions or comments on the fire department capital request?
I don't have any questions on the request. I saw that it came through. I guess I am still hoping for a chance to see more information, like through the audit. I know we are talking to Royalton about a new fire agreement. I know that you have a big event in 2 weeks, so you're reaching your fundraising goals. So for me, I would like to see, if not this moment, but going forward, that all of the expenses of the Middletown Fire Department don't always just come on to Middletown taxpayers. That as much as fundraising efforts as possible, and if Royalton will be able to participate more fully in the services that you provide to them, for me that would be an excellent situation to move towards. I know we aren't going to have the audit for a while. I would just like to go on record of asking that when the audit comes through, that we look at it in a collaborative and a cooperative way. There was nothing about this audit that was meant to give a message of untrustworthiness or anything personal. It's just good fiscal practices to be, have a clean audit. That's really all that is. And I know we started this conversation around the audit last March. We only now just got the letter signed 2 meetings ago. I don't know why there was that kind of delay, but I look forward to being able to talk about that together, however it rolls out.
I'd like to mention, I believe the subject of an audit is in the 1969 agreement between the fire department and Middletown Borough, and I don't believe that agreement's been, to my knowledge, I couldn't find an updated one since 1969. And that one reads as if it carries on from year to year, that agreement. So that Sally shared that with me today. But that might take another look at that to see if we want to update that.
Thanks for bringing that to our attention. I do want to confirm that we do have $50,000 in the budget for fire-related expenses, so we wouldn't have to use pooled cash, correct?
There was a discussion last year during budget season about more funds being needed in 2023 for the fire department. At last budget in 2022, when that was being discussed, or during those meetings in 2022, it is my recollection that council wasn't ready to commit that $75,000 that was earmarked in this budget above, that was budgeted above and beyond the $150,000 contribution. Earlier this year, council approved moving $25,000 of that 75 over to the fire department, which would leave a remaining 50 that is in the current budget. Council's discretion.
So there is some funds.
Yeah, there were funds planned in the budget for discretionary purposes. So, council at that, like I say, at that time wasn't committed to give them to the fire department, but they did a budget.
Kind of allocated it, so to
Yeah.
speak. Is there any other questions or Mayor?
Yes, thank you. I want to start by saying that my comments tonight echo Vice President Willenbecker's, that it's supposed to be a collaborative relationship. So these comments or questions that I have tonight are not critiques. It's simply doing our fiscal responsibility on behalf of 10,000 people. So this year, over 2022, if you take the $25,000 that you increased the contribution and now $32,800 for a roof, you have increased what you give the fire department by 38.5%. I could guarantee you we didn't do that with any other department in this borough. And the taxpayers certainly aren't seeing an increase during a pandemic and a resulting inflationary crisis. So to me, that math just doesn't seem to work. Not to mention, we've also approved $17,500 for an audit, which apparently, I hope we're going to see the whole thing and not just the portion attributable to the borough. I have a couple questions before you move forward with the vote, and I think, Earl, you could probably answer them, or Mr. Whelan, both of you. Gentlemen, how much were the fundraising totals in '22?
I don't have that information.
Do you know how much they were this year?
To date, less than $1,000 to date.
Less than $1,000. How much do you typically make off the gun smoker?
Depending on expenses, between $10,000 and $15,000.
Okay, so you're looking at 10 to 15 once you have that this year. And what is your projection for 2024?
We haven't got that far. We have spent so much time on the audit, and we're on about Rev 4 of information on this budget. We've not gotten that far.
So the reason I bring up comments tonight is I'd actually like to see the council table this for a period of 2 weeks to a month. The reason is this has been on the table for almost a year, since last budget season that the roof was brought up. Just as an example, when we had the Middletown Labor Day car cruise and fireworks display, I was not wearing a name tag. I was dressed like this. I went up to complete strangers and in a matter of 30 minutes raised $401 by saying, will you give me some cash so we can make things explode in the air next year? $401 in 30 minutes. There are 17,000 cars a day on Main Street, and if you spent 10 hours with a group of firemen out there, I guarantee you would dwarf anything that I could do in terms of fundraising. People will be more than happy to donate. You could put up a fundraising thermometer to show your goal. I've seen that done in countless communities, and you will have the money without coming to Middletown Borough. I truly believe that. This town is leaps and bounds, in my opinion, more dedicated to first responders than I've seen anywhere else. If the fire department would open their mouth and say, we need you to support us, the public would do it. 1,000%. Royalton, we cover Royalton, and it's been brought to my attention from an elected official in Royalton that there's been some discussion about maybe putting Royalton's name on our trucks, so proudly serving Middletown and Royalton. In fact, they even took a vote on that at their last meeting, that they are in agreement with doing that if the borough and the fire department want to move forward. My question is, if we have the ability to go to Royalton to say, would you like your name on our fire trucks, why didn't the fire department say to Royalton, please increase your fire tax? You're here asking us to write a check for $32,800. Hold on, let me finish. Let me finish, Jim. Let me finish. It's a contract between two boroughs, but you can come here and tell us that you need money. You can go to Royalton and say that you need money. Additionally, nobody went to Royalton and said, hey, regardless of the fire tax for apparatus, we need a roof for $32,800. No one requested that from Royalton. If you did, and they have cash on hand, perhaps they'd be willing to write a check. If you can take Middletown giving a donation, and Royalton giving a donation, and the fire department doing a little bit of fundraising beyond the smoker, I think you'd have your roof, and then the taxpayers of Middletown wouldn't front the whole bill. So I would like to see the situation tabled, and then ask that question of Royalton. We already sent the letter, because there is a contract between the two entities. However, I think the fire department should also express to Royalton the same issues they're having here in their borough council meeting. Once you get a response from Royalton, you have a little bit more knowledge to make a decision. Because if you make a decision tonight and they go to Royalton, if I was Royalton, my answer would be no. You already covered the bill. That same desperation needs to be expressed to the other community that you want to put on our fire trucks. That's how I feel about it. And in terms of fundraising, I think more can be done. I actually think if you held 2 gun smokers a year, you'd get the same turnout to both of them. That's probably one of the most popular events in this borough. It really is. And so holding a boot, holding a hat, holding a couple more fundraising activities, you wouldn't need to come to borough council for the money. So my request, however it falls, is fine, but I would request that it be tabled.
Well, I do have a motion and a second on the floor at this moment. Is there any more questions, comments, or discussion?
Yeah, I have a comment. I was hoping to hear back from Royalton before we had to do this vote. So I think that's important.
Any other questions or comments? Madam Secretary, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Kliskevich?
No.
Mr. Lister?
No.
Ms. Lloyd?
Yeah.
Ms. Miller?
No.
Ms. Willenbecker?
No.
Mr. Whittier?
Yes. Motion fails 4-2. Do I have agenda item number 11?
Do I have a motion to approve the Historic Restorations Commission request for $78,500 for projects to be funded through our cash reserves?
Anybody want to open it up with some discussion? Questions for Bob Hauser's here? Any questions?
Yes, you have.
Any questions or
Yes,
comments?
you have.
Yep.
My comment is, I do support this project for Middletown. I think it would be a wonderful way to help protect our story. But in the same way that we're in discussion with the fire department about their fundraising goals, to sort of take some of the weight off of the taxpayers, I would sort of ask the same of the commission on this project. If there had been some grants available or some way that you could come to us and say, this is a big ticket item for the study, we have most of it, can you top it off? I would support that. But to be asked to carry the whole nut in a budget season like this, when we're having this kind of conversation with first responders, I just can't support it right now.
We are looking for additional funding. One of the issues is that a lot of the grants that are out there are matching grants. The only grant that I'm aware of that is not a matching grant is through the AD fund. So I would definitely be willing to apply.
Well, if we could have more, information around that, rather than just being presented with a big number at budget time, that's a swallow.
Yeah, I just didn't want to apply for a grant and then not have the matching funds, because the numbers are, kind of silly to even request it and then have the matching funds.
Yeah, that was an issue, I think, that was discussed earlier in the year, or maybe last year, about you folks brought somebody in from the city of Harrisburg and explained
No, he was with the state.
that the state explained
Former city of
the
Harrisburg.
overlay. But I think at that time there were some councils who were opposition, so before you would say,
I
you
know.
got my blessing to go to grant, you'd have to see if the majority of people would
Mm-hmm.
give that blessing.
Excuse
So.
me, Ken, you used the word overlay. The project that we're talking about is not the overlay. The overlay was something completely different. The overlay was restricted. The project that we're talking about is historical designation. No restriction.
I stand corrected.
Mm-hmm.
Just want to make sure it's correct.
Mm-hmm.
So are the budget meetings are ongoing, so if I come up with something before the budget meetings close,
She didn't get the memo.
Any other questions or comments on the historical restorations request?
Mr. English. Part of that request was for funding for the plaques that the commission issues.
My name is Bob Hauser, and I'm the secretary for the Historical Restoration Commission. And part of the funding request that we were making was $500 about. It's a ballpark figure because we don't have an exact quote. The company that we used to buy our plaques from went out of business. We have found somebody else to do it, and their setup charge and a minimum order exceeds our annual budget by 2 figures, twice. So, that was part of that request also in there.
How many do you have any plaques in inventory?
Yes, we have about 11 left. And within the past few weeks, we've had 3 serious inquiries, and we had forwarded the applications to those people. We haven't gotten them back yet. But if they do come back, we're pretty certain that they're going to be approved.
Yeah.
I have something. In a year's time, a calendar year, how many plaques do you actually issue?
That's almost a trick question because it varies every year. Just being late here. I think the most we ever gave out in a year's time might have been 4 or 5, but there has been very little activity since COVID. So the 11 that we have left might last us till through next year, or they could be gone in 2 months if people start finding out about the commission and what we can offer for them for that plaque. Then I'm quite certain that there's quite a few people in this room have property that probably qualify for a plaque. The mayor's house.
What's the, so with the setup fee, what's the minimum equate to in terms of the number of plaques?
I don't have that number off the top of my head. Do you recall what the minimum was on the order? The minimum order?
I think it was 50, but there was a setup charge
Yeah.
as well.
What was it?
You said 50?
50
5
plaques.
0?
I think it was a minimum of 55.
Now that was that one vendor. It's kind of hard to find these vendors that want to do this kind of work. Okay, if we could find somebody else that was cheaper, we certainly would do that.
I have no idea. I've never dealt with Kinrich.
No,
Or,
I think Grace knows. What's the place that we got the plaque on the front of the podium?
I'd have to look up their name. I'd have to look it up.
The original plaques were Wilton Armitage, which, as you know, is no longer in business. I had tracked down a gentleman who was the,
Yeah, I can't hear what she's saying.
The original plaques were from Wilton Armitage, which went out of business many years ago. The gentleman who was the, I guess, president of the company, he left and started his own company doing the same thing under a different name. He's down in York County. I had tracked him down. I had gotten a quote from him. Then this was before COVID, and then, you know, everything kind of fell apart. Since then, I have not been able to get him to respond to me, so I don't know what's going on with that. So we were going to be looking for another vendor.
Grace, would you be able to give them the name of that company?
Sure.
Might be worth looking at.
That would help.
Because that was not, there was no minimum. We bought one.
That's encouraging.
But is that a standardized plaque? These aren't standardized
No,
for customs.
that's our
Really?
specific,
Oh, okay.
design.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I'd definitely be, I would want to look into that for sure. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any other comments or questions? Seeing no motion, I guess we'll move to general public comment. Is there any general public comment?
This concept of collaboration has just gone 360 degrees. I asked for a working group here 8-9 months ago, and council didn't want to do that. They wanted to have us go through the public safety director to get these kind of questions answered. Now tonight we're talking about this collaboration. So I think, to be fair to our friends from the Historical Commission, as well as council members who are going to come after the sitting council, plus members of the fire department, we need to get something in writing here that says what the expectations are for fundraising, for going to neighboring communities to solicit money. All those things need to be put in writing, because there's too much institutional knowledge going on here, and too much tribal knowledge, that we can't survive doing this. We need to get that mesh together. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Any other general public comment? Seeing none, do I have a motion to adjourn? We will be moving to executive session to discuss personnel and potential litigation. Will not be returning.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned. Thank you, everyone.